Before sunlight touched the highest steps of Babylon's legendary ziggurats, before kings stood on the terraces to speak with the sky before priests traced constellations across the heavens, there was a world beneath the stones, a world few were allowed to enter, and even fewer returned from unchanged. The ancient ziggurats rose toward the gods, but their foundations burrowed into the earth like the roots of an enormous tree, holding secrets Babylon never wanted written down. Tonight, inside House of Babylon, we descend into the darkness below. If you have not subscribed yet, join us now. Now step with me into the underground, the ancient world feared to speak about. To understand the hidden rooms beneath the ziggurat, we must return to the beginning, when Babylon was still young, still afraid of storms, still trying to understand the voices of the sky. The first ziggurats were not symbols of pride. They were bridges between two realms, the world above and the world below. The Babylonians believed that just as the gods descended from the heavens, there were forces beneath the earth that rose upward. The ziggurat was not merely a tower, it was a gate, a balance, a channel. And beneath every sacred structure, there had to be a place where the unseen could be contained. The first underground rooms were simple, small chambers used to store offerings, grain, scrolls, and tools. But over time, these chambers grew deeper. They multiplied, they twisted, they became places where priests performed rituals too complex or too unsettling to practice in the open. Because the ancient Babylonians understood something powerful. The human mind is shaped not only by light, but by shadow. And the priests believed wisdom required both. The deeper rooms were built with walls thicker than the foundations themselves. No sound escaped them. Their ceilings were engraved with symbols rarely seen above ground: spirals, circles, stars arranged in patterns that scholars still struggle to interpret. Some believe these carvings reflected star maps. Others believe they were diagrams of the human spirit. But one thing is certain. These rooms were not meant for storing objects. They were meant for storing mysteries. Visitors who entered the rooms described a sensation difficult to explain, the feeling that the air itself was watching. In the underground silence, footsteps echoed like whispers. Lamps flickered despite there being no wind. Priests warned that the deeper one walked into the ziggurat, the more one walked inward toward the darkest parts of the self. The Babylonians knew that environments shape emotions, and they built these rooms to guide the mind toward introspection, humility, and awe. But not every room was peaceful. Some chambers were designed for testing character rooms with narrow corridors, uneven floors, and delicate lighting meant to challenge endurance, patience, and focus. The priests believed a leader must face the unknown, not just command armies from above. These underground passages acted as spiritual training grounds for those who wished to rise through the ranks. Then there were the rooms no ordinary citizen ever saw, the deep sanctums, reserved only for the highest priests. These were not prisons, nor places of punishment, but environments where silence was used as a tool. In these still chambers, individuals confronted their fears, their ambitions, their doubts. The Babylonians believed the mind could speak clearly only when the world above was silent. And underground, the noise of Babylon vanished completely. The most mysterious room of all was known in ancient writings as the Chamber of Echoes. This chamber was constructed with perfect acoustics, so perfect that even a whisper traveled across the walls like a chorus. Priests used this room to study how sound shapes emotion. They believed voices carried spiritual weight, and that speaking in the wrong tone could disturb the balance between worlds. This room was not a place of ritual, but a school and ancient laboratory of psychology and communication. Leaders were trained here to speak with precision, calm, authority, and empathy. Before they addressed the people of Babylon, they learned to address themselves. But as Babylon grew, as kings rose and fell, as fear replaced curiosity, the purpose of the underground began to change. The rooms became less about reflection and more about secrecy. Kings demanded private chambers where discussions could not be overheard. Priests created spaces to protect knowledge from being misused. The deeper rooms became archives for things too powerful lore too dangerous to leave unguarded. Ancient tablets with forgotten languages, maps of star cycles, records of dreams interpreted over generations. Not forbidden because they were dark, but because they were profound. And yet, beneath all these chambers, below even the oldest floors, there lay something else, a room carved into the bedrock, with walls that did not match Babylonian style. Some archaeologists believe it predates the city itself, an older structure that Babylon built upon. What happened in that room remains a mystery. Its walls are bare. Its floor is polished smooth. Its entrance was sealed with stone, thicker than any gate in the city. It was as if someone wanted to protect Ator, protect others from it. The truth is, the underground rooms beneath the ziggurat were not places of evil. They were places of understanding. They represented the human desire to explore what lies beneath the surface of the earth, of history, of the mind. The Babylonians believed that wisdom came not from avoiding darkness, but from navigating it with courage. The ziggurat's towers reached the heavens, but its foundations reached the soul. What makes this story timeless is that we still build ziggurats today, only now. They are made of ambition, routine, identity, and belief. We climb upward, trying to reach the sky, trying to be seen, trying to be remembered. But the real work, the emotional work, happens beneath. In the hidden rooms we build within ourselves. In the memories we bury. In the truths we avoid. In the thoughts we whisper only to the dark. Every human carries an underground chamber, a place where their deepest fears and greatest potential live side by side. Babylon teaches us that ignoring these chambers leads to collapse. Exploring them leads to understanding. The Babylonians feared the darkness, but they respected it enough to study it. And that may be the most powerful lesson the ancient world can give us today. If this descent into Babylon's hidden rooms opens something inside you, subscribe to House of Babylon. There are more shadows ahead, more secrets buried in stone, more questions waiting in the dark. And next week, we walk into one of the most uncomfortable truths of the empire, the story of a market built not on goods, but on lives. Your journey toward the forgotten begins now.